Through a Mirror by C.S.R. 19th of October, 27, Thursday, 8:45 p.m. You'll never guess who I ran into today. Actually, no, it's pretty obvious we were supposed to meet. I went to the store hub today. As I went to the bathrooms, I spied a familiar face as I came out of the stall. Ginger was standing in front of a mirror, removing some old worn-out hooded jacket that she must have found. I went to wash my hands and tried my best not to stare at her too much. Didn't want to weird her out, you know.
You're Ginger,
I started.
correct?
She winced at my words as she gave me a confused look.
I'm Marlenia Hamilton, but you can call me Marla.
She responded very bluntly.
I don't care. Get lost.
She made her way to the door, but I knew I couldn't let her go this time.
I know what you are and what you can do. Please talk to me.
I kept following her, but she just seemed to get more and more upset as I spoke. Eventually I said,
I was an orphan just like you are. I went to Cornwall's safe home for children too. Someone told me you went right after I was adopted, even got my bunk. I'm pretty sure we were supposed to meet each other. It can't just be coincidence. All the orphanages you burned were the ones I went to as well. They treated me horribly, made me feel different. I know how you feel.
Just as I said that, she stopped in her tracks and remained very still for about 5 seconds. She violently whirled her body around so she could face me as she marched up and spit words in my face.
You don't know how I feel. No one does.
I grabbed hold of her hand and stared into her beautiful amber eyes. I could have sworn I saw fire dancing behind her irises.
But I do. They were cruel to me too. I was the #1 victim as well. They thought I was strange and told me I didn't deserve to live. I know what you went through.
She pulled away from me as strongly as she could, ripping my fingers off of her own.
Fuck off!
She screamed as she continued to storm off.
Wait, please.
I chased her some more, when suddenly, my satchel caught on fire. Ginger quickly grabbed it from me and dunked it into the fountain we were right next to, and then proceeded to toss it at me.
Stay the hell out of my life.
I knew better than to keep following her, but I did tell her.
Do you know why you can do that?
She gave another stop.
What?
She turned her head toward me.
How the hell do you know I did that?
I kept my eyes on her, carefully watching as I pushed for an answer.
Do you?
Ginger slightly jerked her head at me and grunted as she continued walking away.
Well, I do. I know why you start fires. You're a burner. A type of smarak that can control fire.
I watched her go, not looking back at me. I hoped that I didn't bother her too much.
Day 10/19/27. Date Thursday. Time 9 p.m. Remember that redhead I ran into? Bonfire? The one I didn't know but thought I should? Well, I ran into her again. I took myself on a field trip to the store hub, and she was there. I paid no attention to little Bonfire, but then she saw me in the bathroom while I took off the old hoodie I found and recognized me or something. She tried talking to me, and somehow she knew who I was, or at least my name. She was all like,
Hey, wait a minute. Are you Ginger? I'm Marlenia Hamilton, but you can call me Marla.
I told her to get lost, and then I left, but she followed me. She called out,
I know what you are and can do. Please talk to me.
The nerve! This bitch doesn't know shit about me. She didn't even know if I was really Ginger. But she kept following me. I began to swear at her and get lost, but she kept trying to pursue me and said,
I was an orphan too. I went to Cornwall's safe home for children too. Someone told me you went right after I was adopted, even got my bunk.
She was crazy, talking about how she thought we were destined to meet. I thought she was trying to pull some sort of practical joke. Maybe she was one of the bullies, she continued.
I know how you feel.
That stirred me up. I turned in her direction and faced her, leaving about an inch between us as I roared, You don't know how I feel. No one does. But she held onto my hands and stared intently back at me with these piercing hazel eyes and responded,
But I do. They were cruel to me too. I was #1 victim as well. They thought I was strange and told me I didn't deserve to live. I know what you went through.
I jerked away from her, roughly tearing her fingers off of mine. I couldn't believe that this girl could know anything of how I felt, so I yelled at her some more and stormed off. She kept trying to pursue me. She kept trying to get me to listen to her. I was so pissed. Suddenly, her satchel caught on fire. Luckily for her, we were right next to a fountain. So I took it from her and dropped it into the water. Then I threw it at her and yelled at her to stay out of my life. She didn't follow, but she did speak.
Do you know why you could do that?
I stopped. I turned and asked, What? How the hell do you know I did that? She kept watching me as she responded.
Do you?
I was about to answer that I hadn't a clue, but I decided to keep walking away. But she spoke again.
Well, I do. I know why you can start fires. You're a burner, a type of smaragd that can control fire.
Then I knew she was crazy. She was spouting gibberish. What the hell is a smaragd? I didn't bother to ask her. You can't reason with crazy. I didn't want anything more to do with her. I just kept walking, ignoring all she had to say. Day 10/21/27, date Saturday, time 3 p.m. So it turns out I'm not just on a normal hill. It's actually a dormant volcano. I almost made it erupt. It's not so dormant anymore. I was standing over it and could see all the lava. Started to play around with my powers, see if I could control lava and existing fires. I was able to. I felt like Mickey Mouse in the Fantasia short. But instead of water, I was conducting molten rock. I shit you not. Music was playing in my head. I know that's hella lame, but it felt so cool and powerful. You have no idea how it feels to have that much power at your fingertips. I even touched the lava. Didn't really feel a thing besides wetness. I took a dip into the volcano as if it were some sort of swimming pool. I then used the fire underneath me to see if I could fly like a rocket. It worked. You know, I should be using my powers to entertain myself. Don't know why I haven't been.
25th of October, 27, Wednesday, 6:34 p.m. I can't believe I'm here right now. I'm so embarrassed. It's my birthday. I should be down there with them, not in my bedroom, enjoying their company, listening to them sing, taking in the warm glow of the cake's candles. Why do I feel this sudden need and urge to hide, to get release, to cut? Nothing bad had happened today. We've all been rather chipper. Everyone beside Jarvis came to my house early this morning to help my parents with preparations. I was touched. They never really had a chance to spend my birthday with me, so they were really excited to be invited to dinner. They found the little knitted dolls my mother made of all of them before she knew of them being real people. They were so in love with them. They were so happy. I wanted to feel happy. I wanted to feel happy that they were enjoying themselves. But smiling became so hard. Eventually, Jarvis came, and I thought that maybe my smile would come back, trying to compete with his. But I think my smile knew it could never win against him and gave up quickly. I faked it, obviously forcing my lips to curve. I probably looked like I was about to cry by the time, well, I eventually slipped away. My parents brought out the cake and everyone was there singing. I felt so empty, so hapless, for no apparent reason. I couldn't stand the way I felt. I excused myself, slipping away in all the confusion, wishing to just be left alone for the next hour. Asking them to let that wish come true. I felt wicked and awful for doing that to them. But I had to. I found my way to my mobile car under my desk, unlocked the little cabinet, and pulled out my cutting kit. I laid its entrails on my desk as I picked out the perfect razor for doing this task. It is clean and polished. No way I can get infected by it. 25th of October, 27, Wednesday, 6:58 p.m. I am still completely frazzled right now. I sometimes wish I could just stop doing this act of self-bloodletting. Damn them for not understanding how I feel. It's my release, it's my freedom. I'm letting my demons out. It's my other form of crying. Just the marks it leaves afterwards stay a lot longer. I was just at the 5th or so cut, rewriting my "Don't Give Up" as I had finally started to fade. I made it almost to the end of "Don't" when my hand slipped and I felt my razor go in much too deep, causing me to actually feel a lot of pain. Just at that moment, I heard the sound of someone clearing their throat, and I knew it couldn't have been me as I was trying my best not to scream out and alarm everyone to my self-mutilation. I looked up, feeling ever so frantic to search my room. By the door stood Jarvis, his hand still on the knob, looking down on me with his cold black eyes. He proceeded to enter the room and close the door behind him.
I'm sorry, but am I interrupting something?
He began.
Jarvis!
I cried out, not knowing what else to say. I was terrified for my own life, and even more terrified of how he would see me from now on.
So, is that a no?
He just seemed to be playing coy. I was getting so confused. Didn't he see how scared I was?
I think I'm bleeding to death.
Yes, I noticed.
His voice remained as cold as his gaze. It almost seemed like he didn't care.
Jarvis, please! Please, I need your help.
I can't help you bleed any faster, Mariania.
Him using my name stung at me, especially of how he said it. I got up and ran past into my bathroom, searching for bandages with one hand as I held onto my wrist with the other. Jarvis continued to watch me with a bored and annoyed look.
I can't find any.
I started crying out to find that I was out of bandages.
I'm out. Oh, 3. Oh, dear God, what do I do? Jarvis!
I turned to him again, collapsing to the floor, my anxiety rising as tears poured from my eyes, blurring everything in sight. I heard him give out a sigh as he walked toward me. Jarvis helped me up, saying,
Come along, sweet bird.
He pulled me from the floor and guided me to the desk chair. He sat up on my desk as he poured peroxide that I'm guessing he got from my bathroom out on my bleeding wrist.
You won't die from this cut. It's not even facing the right direction. Trust me, I would know. No stitches will be needed either, it seems.
Something about this was calming to me. And I don't mean his words, but just the fact that he was taking this initiative to take care of me.
Now I know that if I ever wanted you dead, I could just let you take care of that yourself.
I wasn't trying to kill myself.
He shot me an annoyed glance.
Whether or not you were, you're clumsy enough to screw it up and do so.
He shook his head and then realized he had such a tight grip on me, so he eased it. Jarvis looked down at my arm and seemed to be reading the words. Though they had faded quite a bit, he was still able to make it out.
Don't give up. Give up on what?
Trying. I think. Fighting.
Jarvis let out a silent sigh through his nose and then returned a pitiful glance to my face, which he seemed so carefully to avoid moments before. He lifted my arm to his face and kissed my wounds. I'm sure that some of the blood must have gotten to his mouth. He continued to do so anyway. Once he moved his lips, he removed his hanky from his breast pocket and proceeded to wrap it around my newly made scars.
I am not okay with the idea of you mutilating yourself.
But I can't stop. I need...
But, let me finish. I am not going to ask you to stop. I realize that it's something I wouldn't understand. That maybe this is keeping you alive and from doing something drastic. You could be slitting your throat after all. So I should be thankful that you are not.
Thank you, Jarvis.
Don't thank me.
Well, you did break me out from nearly having an anxiety attack. So thank you for that.
Fine. Fair enough.
I giggled. For whatever reason, I gave it a slight little giggle. Jarvis made eye contact with me again, and then brushed hair out of my face that had landed in front of my glasses.
I'm sorry.
Jarvis is still here with me, sitting on my desk and looking down at me as I write. I actually don't mind for some weird reason. I actually prefer it.